So next up in our presentation is a former golfer whose unflappable demeanor has translated into a successful career in the courtroom. Let's find out more about David Boynton.
When you're the youngest at excelling at something in history, it just goes to show my point that Dave is a driven individual and focused. He stays on tack and is sailing smoothly through the waters of life so far.
David Boynton was a self-made superstar. He didn't pick up the sport of golf until his early teens, but it didn't take long for the Rockville, Maryland native to shine on the course. He emerged as a star in the high school links and took his game to Gettysburg College in the late 70s.
Dave is one of the nicest guys you'll ever meet. I mean, he's really a nice guy, and you don't find that very often. He's very humble. Most of the people in the frat had no idea that Dave played golf, let alone was possibly the best golfer the college has ever had. Dave is unflappable. He's got the perfect demeanor for a golfer.
That demeanor translated into one of the most successful careers on the golf course by a Gettysburg student athlete. From 1976 to 1979, Boynton led the Bullets in scoring average and won 9 separate events, none bigger than the 1977 Middle Atlantic Conference Championship. He won the conference title by 1 stroke thanks to a season-low 71 on the final day of competition. Gettysburg also captured the overall team title for the second time in program history. Boynton's golf exploits continued to grow. As a junior, he carded a career-low 69 at the Dickinson Fall Invitational, while also leading the team to the overall championship. He finished with a career-low scoring average of 77.6 and placed in the top 10 at the conference event. After another sterling senior season, Boynton's career scoring average stood at an impressive 78 strokes per round.
He's not the kind of guy that when he does well, he comes in bragging. I would have been just screaming had I done the things he'd done. You know, he was the overall champion in the MAC, I think his sophomore year, might have been junior, but I think sophomore year. The team won the title. No one knew that. He didn't tell anybody. He didn't even mention it. So he's just a dependable, loyal, great friend. I've had the pleasure of knowing him for over 45 years now.
After graduating from Gettysburg with a degree in business administration, Boynton earned his law degree from the University of Baltimore School of Law in 1982. He has embarked on an impressive legal career, which has included serving as prosecutor in the D.C. sniper case. In 2003, he was elected as the associate judge for the 6th Judicial Court in Maryland, becoming the youngest person ever to hold the position. Boynton has still maintained his golf game, and just last year, he won the Montgomery County Senior Amateur Championship by shooting 2 under par.
Dave Boynton deserves to be in the Athletic Hall of Honor at Gettysburg College for 2 reasons. Number one, his accomplishments, sporting-wise. He's perhaps the best golfer that's ever played for Gettysburg College. Character-wise, you can't find anyone better. I'm not kidding. I've never met anyone so friendly, does such charitable good work, and is so humble.
Ladies and gentlemen, it is my honor to introduce, it's my honor to introduce from the class of 1979, David Boynton. Wow.
Well, first, I want to say thank you to the Orange and Blue Club for hosting this event. and bestowing upon me this wonderful honor. It's very humbling to be considered worthy of this recognition, along with the many other members who have been inducted in prior years. I also want to congratulate the other members of the class of 2015 who have earned this special distinction. Next, I want to say thank you to my family and friends, many of whom have traveled great distances to be here. My wife and children, my parents, my mother-in-law, brothers and sisters, several fraternity brothers. This night is so much more meaningful because I can share it with all of you. A special thanks goes to my old friend John Gray, who appeared so earnest when he made up all those wonderful things he said about me on the tape. As we get older, I think most of us realize that who we have become is less likely attributable to our own abilities and efforts, and much more likely traceable to those people in our lives who have influenced, impacted, and shaped us. In my life, it's been my parents, family, teachers, and close friends. In sports, clearly my coaches and teammates. And in my profession as a trial lawyer and now as a judge, I've learned my craft over the years from other lawyers and judges. It is clear that every important achievement in my life was never earned alone, but was usually the result of the convergence of numerous seemingly unrelated people and circumstances. For me, this certainly was true with golf and receiving this recognition tonight. First, my parents, Ed and Mary Boynton. They've always supported me in everything I've ever done. My dad particularly encouraged me to take up this game at a young age, when I was playing other sports and thought golf was an old man's game. He was an avid golfer. I think I also got a fair amount of talent from my mother, who had a hole-in-one in her early 80s. As usual, they were right, I was wrong. So I listened to my parents and I learned to play golf. My parents also provided me the opportunity to play in junior golf tournaments in order to develop the skills necessary to compete at a high level in high school and amateur events. They also paid my way to attend this great school and be able to play collegiate golf. I could never, ever thank them enough for all they've done for me. Second, my teammates. Back in the mid to late 1970s, the Gettysburg golf program had no golf pro, no golf instructor, no videotape machine, no fitness instructor or nutritionist, no sports psychologist, and we played our home matches on a 9-hole course. Golf was not like other sports where we had regular practices, plays, scrimmages, or workouts. Our coach made up the schedule and was our chauffeur, driving the van from match to match. But what we did have was each other. We practiced and competed against one another on our own. By coincidence, we had a group of fantastic golfers during my time at Gettysburg, several of whom went on to, after graduation, to have full careers as PGA professionals. We pushed each other, supported each other, and we each became a better player because of our teammates. I want to give a special thank you to the core of our teams back then. Jeff Poet, who was the senior captain my freshman year and also a member of this Hall of Athletic Honor. Mike Ryan, Bob Rementer, and Ed Short, who were upperclassmen with whom I shared numerous championships and titles. Without them, none of this would have happened. Finally, my coach, Howard Shoemaker. Mr. Shoemaker had attended Gettysburg College, was a great athlete in his own right, is a member of this Hall of Honor, and served as golf coach while I was here. During my 4 years of varsity golf, he did not teach me a single thing about golf. But I can tell you that I would not be standing here right now if it were not for him. During my freshman year, we had our strongest team during my 4 years, the most talented team in the conference, and we were destined to win the conference championship. It was played at 36 holes in one day, which in 1976 was a typical early spring day in Pennsylvania. Cold, windy, and rainy. There was a 2-hour delay due to frost on the greens. Despite the horrid weather conditions, I played 2 of the best tournament rounds of my life, finishing the day at around even par. My 3 other teammates also played well that day. It appeared that we had the lowest team score and that I had the low individual score. We were so excited to win the conference championship, especially for Jeff, who was our senior captain. However, in very short order, we were told that we had been disqualified because my scorecard contained an error. One of my competitors from another school who had kept my card during the rounds had recorded one of my 9-hole total scores in the wrong box. However, had recorded the correct total score for the entire round. In my rush between the first and second rounds, I had only confirmed that the total score was correct, had not taken time to carefully examine my card, and turned in the card with this seemingly harmless error. However, under the rules of golf, the penalty was an automatic disqualification. My fellow competitors all confirmed my scores for the day, and our team challenged this ruling to the tournament committee. However, the result stood. As you can imagine, I was devastated, as were my teammates. I, of course, blamed my competitor for making the error, the committee for not correcting the innocent mistake, and felt terribly responsible for having let down Jeff and my teammates. I just could not believe that we had lost the championship based upon a rule that related to the recording of the score and had nothing to do with the swinging of the club or playing of the game. At that point, I decided that I no longer wanted to play a college sport where you could beat your opponent on the field but lose the game because of a scoreboard error. The fall of my sophomore year, before the first golf invitational, Mr. Shoemaker called me into his office because I had missed the initial team meeting. When I explained my position about not wanting to play, he didn't try to change my mind, but he gave me some advice. He told me that to be successful, talent and hard work are a given and should be considered the starting point. Real success is achieved by those who pay attention to details, take responsibility for their actions, and learn from their mistakes. He asked me to consider my decision because this team had a lot of good golf ahead of it. In his own quiet way, he told me the error from the prior spring was ultimately my responsibility. Suck it up and get over it. Once again, he was right. I was wrong, and I took his advice. That year, we went on to win the conference championship and won several other tournaments in the years that followed. The advice I received from my golf coach has helped along the way ever since. In closing, I want to thank Gettysburg College for all of the great memories, for providing me the opportunity to play collegiate golf, for educating me and teaching me how to think, and most importantly, for preparing me to be successful in life. Thank you very much.